goes, welcome one. Welcome all. It's time for another exciting English extravaganza. Now buckle up, because it's time for liftoff.
T-minus 10.
That's right. Blast off with me.
6,
Se puede
5,
decir blast off or lift off.
2,
Que es diferente que
1,
take off.
0.
Take off un avión.
Ignition.
Blast off and lift off un
Lift off.
cohete.
Lift off. 30 minutes.
Are you ready? All right, here we go. Come on.
Get ready.
Yes,
Hold on
yes,
to your
yes.
hat. On your seatbelt. Fasten your seatbelts. Hold on to your hat.
And get ready for the ride of your life.
The show with no. It's show with no name time.
On radio.
It's the show with no name. Let's go.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, welcome, welcome. Welcome to your English class here on Vaughn Radio. A daily English class, a free English class. And, well, thank you. Thank you on behalf of all of us, en nombre de todos mis amigos, on behalf of all my friends here at Vaughn Radio, thank you for choosing, porque es una elección, eh? Thank you for choosing to learn and laugh with us day after day. And we all know the importance of consistency, right? In anything. You want to get in shape. No, si te quieres poner en forma. If you want to get your English in shape, whatever it is, it's applicable to any situation in life. Consistency is the key. It's about creating great habits. I was always told that dieting doesn't work. Why? Because the word diet implies that it's temporary, right? And really, if you want to be fit, you have to change some habits. So it's got to be a lifelong thing. Like instead of going for a candy bar, a Twix, well, you go for an apple. Instead of taking the elevator, or as my British friends say, the lift, you take the stairs, right? So it's about breaking bad habits, creating good habits. And the best part about that, it gets easier as you go, right? So keep it up, folks. Keep it up. Very excited today because we're going to hear from some of your fellow students in our question of the week, which is always tons of fun. But first, we're going to kick things off with a listening exercise that we call the Say What Soundbite.
Say what? What?
That's right, folks. The Say What Soundbite. You've got a couple different tasks here. Algunas tareas. Number one, listen carefully. Number two, tell me what you heard in your best English. And number three, see if you can get it all. A ver si lo pillas todo. You'll have 4 chances, as you know. And I'll warn you today. Today, it's not for the faint of heart. No es apto para cardíacos. Well, it's a little bit gross. It's a little bit vulgar. But hey, some people are gross, and some people are gross and vulgar. But this is from a movie. So everything in context, of course. Also, I'd like to send a huge round of applause now to our superstar students, Alberto, Alfonso, Anix, Born to Iron Man, Chris Valrol, Nuria, Elena, and Juan Lu. They've all participated in our weekly speaking section, the question of the week. And we'll be listening to their audios a little bit later on in the show. I urge all of you to participate. Well, if you want to practice your speaking and get feedback. And in fact, let me give you next week's question of the week. What always makes your day better? So you're having a bad day. What never fails? Que nunca falla. What never fails to make your day better? All right? You can record it on your phone. Real simple. Just like sending a voice note to a friend. We've all done it. And you can send it to my email address, which is aalonso@grupovon.com. That's right. Alonso, dos A's. Alonso@grupovon.com. And we look forward to hearing from all of you. So practice your English with us every week on the question of the week. What never fails to make your day better? All right. And we'll take a look at your answers, as we always do, on our Friday edition. That means that the deadline, you say fecha límite, poco más dramático en inglés, ¿no? Deadline. The deadline is Thursday evening. So if you'd like to participate, remember, I've got to always do a little technical stuff afterwards, right? I don't just play it from the email. I've got to download it. Sometimes I've got to change the file format. And then I've got to, put it into my editing software. So I've got to do a few things to your audio before you hear it on the show. That's why I always ask you to turn it in. Toma, buen verbo compuesto, to turn it in or to hand it in. Tiene más sentido, hand in, ¿no? To hand it in before Thursday. Y mira, os voy a enseñar uno súper lógico aquí con el hand in. Te lo doy en contexto, como siempre, ayuda mucho. The teacher handed out the exams. We took the exams, and when we finished, we handed them in. Queda clarísimo, ¿no? Repartió, right? The teacher handed out the exams, and when we finished, we handed them in. Entregar. I love it when phrasal verbs are logical. Well, one of the reasons people hate them is because sometimes they don't make sense. Especially, I think the one that throws people off, que desconcierta a la gente más que nada, is to go off. Apagar? No, sonar. O sea, my alarm goes off at 7 a.m. every day. Apaga? No, suena. I know. Don't shoot the messenger. I'm just telling you. I love when people say, well, that doesn't make sense. I'm like, well, what do you want me to do about it? I'm not allowed to change the language. I've got to teach it the way it is, right? But it's always funny because, I get it. I feel your pain, but there's not much I can do. So we've just got to be aware, ser conscientes de ello, accept it, learn it, and move on. Seguir adelante, hacia adelante, and just like life. All right. So as always, folks, I urge you all to participate. It's a wonderful way, not just to practice every week, to practice speaking, but also, to get feedback. And again, I can help you identify your weak points, where you're having difficulty when it comes to speaking. So why not? Why not take advantage of this wonderful golden opportunity to express yourself in English every week about a different topic. But right now, it's not time for our question of the week. As I said, we're going to listen to our Say What soundbite. If the kids are listening now, you might want to cover their ears because, as I said, this is a bit vulgar and definitely gross, but it is from a movie. So again, don't shoot the messenger. All right. I also think if yesterday's was tough, which I didn't think it was tough, but again, I never know here. But this one, I believe, is pretty tough. Bastante chungo, as you say, bastante difícil. So here it is, your Say What soundbite for the first time. Pay attention.
He starts by cutting off the pig's testicles, and he chops them up really finely, teeny tiny pieces. And then he takes those testicles and he pulverizes them and adds in a little arugula, some sage, feta cheese, and shoves the mixture back up the pig's, well, for lack of a better word, ass.
Listen carefully. Can you hear that? No. Listen closer. I'm not talking about the birds chirping. I'm talking about everybody speaking English and feeling comfortable. Listen. This is what it's like at Vaughan Town, a peaceful place where you can really learn English and lose your inhibitions. There's a reason it's one of our star programs. Vaughan Town, lose your fear of speaking English. If you want more information about this immersive experience, go to grupovaughan.com or give us a call, 911-385831. Lose your fear of speaking English and express yourself with clarity at Vaughan Town. That's right, folks. Vaughan Town, what an amazing, immersive experience. As I always say, it's not a course, it's an experience. It's something that is life-changing and, dare I say, a turning point in your English adventure. If you want more information about Vaughan Town or any of our initiatives, go to our website, grupovaughan.com. All right, let's move on to today's pop quiz. Pop quiz. Pop quiz. Pop quiz. Pop quiz. Pop quiz. Yeah. Let's go. Pop quiz. Pop quiz. Pop quiz. Pop quiz. Pop quiz. That's right, folks. This is our pop quiz. And as you know, this is an opportunity for me to introduce you to all the different materials that you can pick up at Vaughan Tienda while teaching you some stuff and making sure you're getting what I'm teaching you. That's where I put you to the test at the end. Now, as you know, I have 5 books available. I've got, déjame ir aquí en orden, porque si no me pierdo. The first one, which is English Everywhere. English Everywhere is 40 chapters. And in each chapter, I take you to a different place. The bank. I take you to the house, no? Inglés por casa. The hairdressers, peluquería. All different places where you'll need to use English. The garden, right? There's even a chapter, the last chapter, the 40th chapter, which is numbers. So we look at fractions, decimals, and all those things you need to know when dealing with numbers. You can pick up English Everywhere at Vaughan Tienda or wherever fine books are sold. And remember, if you live in Madrid, Barcelona, Bilbao, Vigo, Valladolid, Valencia, Santander, well, we are waiting for you to stop by and introduce yourself. Preséntate. And you can get a free level test while you're at it. ¿Te sabes esta? Ya que estás. While you're at it, right? While we're at it, ya que estamos. Apúntate esa si no la sabes. Es difícil decir, While we're at it, while we are at it, pero se contrae. While we're at it, pero bueno, se usa bastante, ya que estamos. I always tell my students, this is the trick. Si se usa mucho en español, pues se usa mucho en inglés también. esa forma de expresar, ¿no? Como, no me digas. These kind of things that are kind of universal. No way, right? Or como americanos dicen, shut up. Shut up no es cállate con ese tono, shut up es no me digas. En serio, calla. Well, you say the same thing, calla. Ahí no estás mandando a alguien a callar. Estás diciendo, no me lo creo, right? It's more an expression of disbelief. And those are the totally native things you'll learn in all of my books, whether it's English Everywhere or the ones from the trilogy. You've got This Book is the Milk. This Book is the Milk 2. This Book is the Shit. And then you've also got a fifth book, which is for you people who love to travel. I love to travel. I don't have money, but I love to travel. Traveling is awesome, right? It's I consider it more of like an investment than a expenditure. So what do we have to do? Well, we've got to take a look at the English we'll need when we travel. But today we're not looking at my book, English on the Go, because we looked at it recently. So I figured we could take a look at another very useful book for people who travel. And with the long weekend, you say puente, we call it a long weekend. The long weekend in May coming up in the summer, well, this is a great material to get your hands on. Now, the book was written by a great friend of mine, Victor Sanabria. He is a fellow New Yorker, also with Spanish parents. So we have a lot in common. And really, really nice guy. And the book's got everything you need to know, from A to Z. And you know how much it costs? Are you ready for this? $9.95. So it's under 10 euros. You get over 2 hours of audio. 2 hours of audio and very practical stuff like going through a security checkpoint, no, el control de seguridad, customs, aduana. I mean, this is important stuff because remember, if you don't do that right, you might not get into the country. Right? They won't give you the stamp, no te dan el sello, and that would not be a good start to your vacation. Also, one of the things that made me want to write English Everywhere was that I realized all my students know how to say, my mother is rich, and no, my tailor is rich, and my mother's in the kitchen. And all I could think to myself was, what the hell, where's the usefulness in that? No, ¿dónde está la utilidad de eso? I don't get it. Okay, it's funny, but why? And then I would ask my students something more practical, like, ¿cómo se dice aduana? And they say, I don't know. I'm like, bueno, si viajas, deberías saber esa, right? Or objetos perdidos, the lost and found. So I realized there was a big hole, a void. A void es un hueco, un vacío, in this practical English. So a lot of people knew, like, okay, how to say dog, cat. And yeah, that's great. But also, I mean, if you're going to be using your English abroad, well, you need to know that travel English, as I said, the English you'll use if you're going to be taking a flight. Ahí hay un error muy común también. A lot of people mix up, I have a fly tomorrow. Ah, tienes una mosca. So careful. Fly es el verbo volar. Flight es vuelo, right? Verbo versus sustantivo. Vamos a conjugarlo porque es irregular. Every day, every summer, I fly to Almería. Last summer, I flew to Almería. And lately, I've flown to Almería. All right, so these are the best ways to practice irregular verbs. As you know, in the Vaughan method, we don't just teach you 3 words. ¿Qué te sirve si yo te digo fly, flew, flown? Ok, enhorabuena, te sabes 3 palabras sueltas. Ahora úsalas en contexto. That's what you really need to know, right? So the best way to practice them, and I always tell you this, is primera columna, presente simple, algo habitual, every day, every summer, right? Tiene que ser every Saturday, no? Every other day, un día sí, otro no. Okay, so it's got to be something habitual. So every day I eat fruit. Vamos a ir, okay? Iba a decir pizza, muy mal. Mal ejemplo. Every day I eat fruit. Yesterday, I ate some fruit. And lately, I've eaten a lot of fruit. Y a ver, ahí como estás practicando 3 estructuras más que tres palabras sueltas que no te sirve para nada. So that's how I want you guys to practice your irregular verbs. And of course, as always, aloud, in voz alta. If we're not practicing it aloud, well, what are we practicing, right? You're practicing reading it in your head? That's not going to help you. Okay, you might recognize the word, but what we really need to do is vocalize. And I can't stress it enough. I say it in every show because I can't stress the importance. Yeah, of course, you're going to improve your listening. If you listen to Vaughn Radio all day, of course, you're going to improve your listening. But is that all you want to improve? Don't you want to improve your speaking and listening? Because in the end, what is communication? Listening, speaking, listening, speaking, listening, speaking. You can't have one without the other. All right. So anytime you can, and I get it, if you're listening in the office or if you're with other people, it's difficult. But anytime you can, especially if you're in your car alone, vocalize. Si decimos una estructura, una palabra, dilo en el momento y así no solo estamos practicando cómo suena, pero también practicando cómo decirlo nosotros. All right, my amigos, here's your pop quiz. It's, again, from Inglés para Viajar. Pay attention because I will have a couple questions for you afterwards.
Key phrases for getting the right accommodation.
El mejor alojamiento para ti. ¿Qué valoración tiene mi alojamiento en Internet?
What's my accommodations rating online?
¿Cuál es la opción más barata?
What's the cheapest option?
¿Cuál de las opciones será la más cómoda?
Which option will be the most comfortable?
¿Es pensión completa o media pensión?
Is it full board or half board?
¿Cuántas camas hay en la habitación?
How many beds are there in the room?
¿A qué hora tenemos que hacer el check-in?
What time do we have to check in?
¿Está el desayuno incluido en la posada?
Is breakfast included at the inn?
¿Tengo que dejar una señal antes?
Do I have to leave a deposit beforehand?
¿A qué distancia queda mi alojamiento del centro de la ciudad?
How far is my accommodation from the city center?
¿Es amable el personal?
Is the staff friendly? Key grammar for your accommodation.
El comparativo con than. El hotel es más caro que el hostal.
The hotel is more expensive than the hostel.
El hotel era más caro que el hostal.
The hotel was more expensive than the hostel.
La media pensión es más barata que la pensión completa.
Half board is cheaper than full board.
El bed and breakfast tiene mejor valoración que el hostal.
The bed and breakfast has a higher rating than the hostel.
El bed and breakfast tiene mejor valoración que el apartamento.
The bed and breakfast has a higher rating than the apartment. Key grammar for your accommodation.
El comparativo con as. Este sofá es tan cómodo como mi cama.
This couch is as comfortable as my bed.
La habitación individual no estaba tan bien como la habitación doble.
The single room wasn't as nice as the double room.
La casa rural no es tan cara como una pensión completa en el hotel.
The guest house isn't as expensive as full board at the hotel.
La cama individual no es tan grande como la cama de matrimonio.
The single bed isn't as big as the double bed.
Mi cama no es tan cómoda como la cama del bed and breakfast.
My bed isn't as comfy as the bed at the bed and breakfast. Cambios de hora en inglés. Put your time telling to the test. Eduardo has a buffet dinner at the hotel from 8 p.m. to 9 p.m. Chicago time, or from 3 to 4 Madrid time. Eduardo is going to watch a film in the room from 10 p.m. to 12 a.m. Chicago time, or from 5 to 7 Madrid time. Eduardo is going to go to bed at 12:30 a.m. Chicago time, or 7:30 Madrid time. Eduardo is going to wake up at 9 a.m. Chicago time, or 4 Madrid time. Eduardo is going to have breakfast in the hotel from 10 a.m. to 10:45 a.m. Chicago time, or from 5 to 5:45 Madrid time. Eduardo is going to meet his colleagues from the Chicago team from 11:30 a.m. to 1 p.m. Chicago time, or from 6:30 to 8 Madrid time. Eduardo is going to have lunch with his colleagues from 1 p.m. to 2 p.m. Chicago time, or from 8 to 9 Madrid time. Eduardo is going to explore downtown Chicago from 2 p.m. to 5 p.m. Chicago time, or from 9 to 12 Madrid time. Eduardo is going to rest at the hotel from 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. Chicago time, or from 12 to 2 Madrid time.
Folks, we have got to go to a quick commercial break. We'll be right back with much more, so stick around. Welcome back. Welcome back, folks. This is part 2 of today's show with No Name. Lots to cover today. All right, let's get right into what I want from you in today's pop quiz. The first one, I want you to use alojamiento en inglés, en contexto. Úsalo en un contexto donde lo usarías normalmente, ¿no? Ya vamos a hacer que sea práctico. No como my tailor is rich and my mother's in the kitchen. ¿No? ¿Cómo usarías tú esa palabra? Alojamiento. Siempre busco alojamiento con antelación. Mi alojamiento favorito. Hey, that's up to you. Pero úsalo como lo usarías. Así vemos si lo usas bien. So the first one is alojamiento. The second word I want from you is a word nobody wants to hear when you're checking into a hotel, and that's chinches. Oh, God. Chinches. Yeah. Oh, man. I'll give you a clue. It's a very, very logical word in English. That's, I think, every traveler's nightmare. Chinches. And the last one, the adjective amable. How would you tell somebody muy amable? O no decir que alguien ha sido amable contigo. I use this one a lot in English and in Spanish. Obviously, if I'm in London, I say it in English. But in Spain, I say muy amable. Gracias, muy amable. All right, so number 1, alojamiento. Number 2, chinches. And number 3, the adjective amable. All right, also, let me give you today's Say What soundbite. I'm going to give it to you now for the second time. I know it's tough, but as always, all I ask of you is to do the best you can. Here we go.
He starts by cutting off the pig's testicles, and he chops them up really finely, teeny tiny pieces. And then he takes those testicles and he pulverizes them and adds in a little arugula, some sage, feta cheese, and shoves the mixture back up the pig's, well, for lack of a better word, ass.
Hey, Damian, what's crack-a-lackin', buddy?
Hey, Alberto, I was planning to do some sports this week. What about playing baseball?
Ooh, baseball. I love it. But I'm not sure yet. Can we touch base next week?
Touch base. Estamos en contacto, ¿no? Hablamos en algún momento. Yeah, okay. Let's touch base. Okay, what about basketball? Do you want to play basketball?
Oh, man, I love basketball. It's one of my favorite sports. But I don't know if I can this weekend because I've already got plans. Oh, man, that's the way the ball bounces.
That's the way the ball bounces. Así están las cosas, ¿no? Así bota la pelota. Así bota la pelota. That's the way the ball bounces. I love that expression. Okay, what about tennis? Do you want to play tennis?
Well, I love tennis, but I'm not really a good player. If you don't mind playing with a novice, the ball's in your court, buddy.
La bola está en mi campo, ¿eh? La pelota está en mi tejado. All right. Do you want to play some soccer?
Sure, I'd love to play some soccer or football, as you call it. What time do we kick off?
Perfect. We're kicking off at 9. Are you available?
Sure, but I might have to play some golf before with some friends. It's par for the course.
It's par for the course. Es lo normal, ¿no? Es lo normalito, lo que se hace.
Mhm.
Okay, what about billiards? Do you like playing billiards?
Yeah, but right now I'm behind the 8 ball.
I'm behind the 8 ball. Estás detrás de la bola 8, como que llevas las de perder.
Yeah, wow, a lot of idiomatic expressions here.
Muy buenas expresiones. Si es que así de gusto aprender inglés con un profe como Alberto y un poquito de creatividad, tienes This Book is the Shit. El mejor libro para aprender inglés que te has echado a la cara in your life. Píllatelo, vas a disfrutar mogollón de dibujos para que lo aprendas todo fácil, con conexiones lógicas y divertidas. Es la manera más sencilla y más divertida de aprender inglés. No te la pierdas.
Damián, you're such a good sport. Te enrollas. You can pick up your copy of This Book is the Shit at
Vaughantienda.com.
It's the shit. That's right, folks. This book is the shit. You can buy it at Vaughan Tienda, also wherever fine books are sold. But a warning, a disclaimer. You say carga de responsabilidad o algo así? A disclaimer. It's addictive. Hey, I'm just telling you, the way we like to learn, oh man, you will get hooked. You can pick up tons of amazing materials at any of our bookshops. We've got our translation booklet, which is awesome. We've got the student manual, which guides you through the Vaughan method. And you've got Inglés para Viajar, which is what we're looking at in today's pop quiz. All right, well, a couple things I wanted to highlight from this audio. All right, well, the first one, you say posada. Well, if you've traveled around, especially to the United States, although it's a global company, you'll know one of the most famous hotel chains is called the Holiday Inn. Ahora, es un homófono para in dentro, pero tiene dos N's. So last time we stayed in the Holiday Inn. No, seguro que has visto este hotel, es súper conocido. Inn. All right. Also, the word hotel. Do you know how many times I've heard people say hotel? It's hotel. Fijaos donde ponemos el énfasis, because you say hotel, we say hotel. Bueno, no sé, bueno, la gente dice hotel, por alguna razón lo ponen, aunque en español yo creo que es igual, ¿no? Hotel, hotel. Yeah, it's at the end, right? Hotel. Now, eso sí, hay que pronunciar esa J, esa H que suena como una J. Hotel. Hostal, we say hostel. Do you prefer to stay at a hotel or at a hostel? Or maybe you prefer an Airbnb. ¿Sabéis de dónde viene el B&B, no? Bed and breakfast. Aha. Also, the señal, the deposit. That's the money that you leave, or you leave a credit card on file, just in case, you decide to destroy anything along the way. So, deposit, right? Un depósito, we would say, to leave a deposit. Okay. And also, we looked at another structure that causes confusion, and this is tan, tal, como. So, the mistake I always hear is, I'm as taller as my dad. And here, with this structure, que es muy fácil, piensa así, as, adjetivo y otro as. El tema es que la gente pone el comparativo. Y aunque es una comparación, esta no lo usa. Vamos a ver la diferencia. He's taller than his dad. Es así. He's taller than his dad, but he isn't as tall as his grandpa. Okay, so as, adjetivo sin comparativo, sin superlativo, el adjetivo puro y duro entre los dos as. All right. In fact, let's look at some examples. Let's just to make sure you've got it, because believe me, It's a pretty simple structure, but I've seen people screw it up. Cagarla. Ok, vamos a ver. Ella es tan alta como su hermano. She's as tall as, no taller, she's as tall as her brother. Vamos a hacerlo en pregunta. ¿Es tan alta como su hermano? Porque eso ya me demuestra que no solo sabes esa traducción, pero entiendes la estructura. Is she? Eso es, cambiamos el orden, sujeto, verbo. Is she as tall as her brother? Yeah. She's as tall as her brother. Y también se puede poner en negación. She isn't as tall as her brother. No es tan alta como su hermana. Okay, como su hermano en este caso. Ok, él es tan fuerte como su padre. He's as strong as his dad. He's as strong as his dad. Ella es tan inteligente como su hermana. She is as intelligent or as bright as her sister. Ok, estoy tan ocupado como tú hoy. Siempre contraemos para un inglés más natural. I'm as busy as you today. No basi, busy, Esa U es raro porque suena como I'm as busy as you. No busier, sino busy. Porque busier sería I'm busier than you. Más ocupado. Esto es tan como, ¿ok? Vamos a ver. Este perro es tan rápido como un tigre. This dog is as fast as a tiger. As fast as. ¿Ok? Esta caja es tan pesada como la mesa. This box is as heavy as the table. All right, good. Hoy es tan caluroso como ayer. Today is as hot as yesterday. No hot, hot. No, yo sé que hay una O ahí, pero olvídate esa O. Pero no es hot, it's hot. Today is as hot as yesterday. Ok, el examen fue tan difícil como yo esperaba. The exam was as hard as I expected, or as tough, or as difficult. Lo que no se dice es difficult, es difficult. La segunda I es como una A. Right? A schwa sound, como lo decimos. So the exam was as difficult as I expected. Ok, este restaurante es tan caro como el otro. This restaurant is as expensive as the other one. Y otra vez, si queremos decir que no, cambiamos el is a isn't. No, el is a isn't. This restaurant isn't as expensive as the other one. And folks, we also use this structure in many common expressions that I'm sure you'll recognize, expressions that we've looked at here on the show. Okay, cuanto antes, as soon as possible, right? No, as tan pronto como posible. Ahora, si vas a decir la abreviatura, acuérdate, you say ASAP. ASAP, we don't say in English. You can say ASAP, but not ASAP. Okay, so, ojo, yo sé que en español lo necesitamos ASAP. No, tienes dos opciones en inglés, ASAP or ASAP. Okay? Que yo sepa, there's another one. ¿Cómo se dice esta? Que yo sepa, no ha venido aún. As far as I know, tan lejos como yo sé, es la traducción literal. As far as I know, he hasn't arrived yet. ¿Ok? Siempre que. Lo harán siempre que les ayudes. They'll do it as long as you help them. They'll do it as long as you help them. Okay? So these are just some other common uses of this as, adjetivo, as. All right, practice, because as you know, practice makes perfect. All right, let's go on over here to our chat room and see who's with us and ready to rock on today's show with no name. There's Elena. What's up? Elena tuning in from the north of Spain. And she says, hi there, eager to participate. So let's get the ball rolling. Great to have you on board, Elena. We missed you yesterday, but now you're here with us, and we are thrilled to the gills. Gills es lo que tienen los peces. ¿Cómo se dice gills? Siempre se me olvida. Algunas palabras como que no se me quedan en la cabeza. Thrilled to the gills, las branquias. Ahora, es porque rima. We're thrilled to the gills to have you here with us. There's another superstar student joining us, Chris Valrol. She says, hiya, fantastic show with no-namers. Let's go. You ladies have the right attitude. I'm telling you. And if you got the right attitude, everything in life is just that much easier. All right, let's see. There's Elena. She has got something to say about our Say What soundbite. Let's see what her observations are. Elena says, what? Oh my God. An unhinged woman. Palabrón aquí. Unhinged. Now, una puerta que es unhinged sin bisagras. O sea, ahí te lo explico todo. ¿Ok? Volátil. ¿Ok? Pero es sin bisagras. Porque a hinge es una bisagra, ¿no? De una puerta. So, the adjective unhinged means you're unstable. Okay, excellent. Te voy a dar un totally native. She says, an unhinged woman describing how another deranged woman cuts off some poor pig's testicles. Raving mad. Loquísima. Great. Wow. Elena, spoken like a true native. Excellent job. Wow. Wow. There's Born to Iron Man checking in. He says, hi, mates. Hello, Born to Iron Man. Great to have you on board and rocking and rolling with us on this amazing day. Let's see. Chris says, I heard an American woman, and I'd say she's setting forth a situation. Now, to set forth, vamos a ver cómo lo traducen aquí, set forth, describiendo, yeah. To set forth. Great, te doy un totally native. No forth como cuarto, sino F-O-R-T-H, right? So I heard an American woman, and I'd say she's setting forth a situation where a pair of testicles were involved. Yeah. The good thing is you all heard that word. They didn't say tentacles, what an octopus has, but they said testicles. And I hope it wasn't left in tiny pieces. Or maybe she says tinny. No. She says tiny. Okay, tinny es como aluminio, ¿no? Es como algo que decimos, muchas veces lo usamos para describir sonido que le falta graves. That sound is very tinny, porque suena como si estuvieran dentro de una lata, right? So tinny, dos N's, tiny, pequeñito, es con una N. All right, great job, Chris. But she says teeny tiny. Que teeny tiny es pequeñísimo, pero not tinny. Okay? Ahora lo vemos de todos modos, como lo vamos a ir otras dos veces. Well, I'm sure you ladies will figure it out. All right, Chris is participating in our pop quiz. Let's see what Chris had to say. She says, when I traveled to Scotland, I always looked for accommodation in guest houses. Muy bien. Accommodation. Alojamiento. También se puede decir lodging. De hecho, hay una cadena que se llama Econo Lodge. O sea, Holiday Inn, Econo Lodge. Podemos aprender solo con saber los nombres de los hoteles, las cadenas de hoteles, right? So great job. When I traveled to Scotland, I always looked for accommodation in guest houses, preferably bed bug free. Muy bien. Chinches, bed bugs. Bichos de la cama. Ya. ¿Y os sabéis la frase a mimir en inglés? ¿No? Decís a mimir a un niño o a mimir. Se lo digo a mi hija todas las noches. Night, night, don't let the bed bugs bite. Suena, what? Pero es muy, muy normal, porque rima otra vez. So, night, night. Night, night is good night, pero en una forma más cariñosa. Night, night. Don't let the bed bugs bite, que no te muerdan los chinches. And then she says, I'm sure they're very friendly, but I prefer to sleep alone. Muy bien. Muy amable, very friendly. También se puede decir helpful. Thank you, you've been very helpful. muy servicial, muy amable, right? Helpful, friendly, right? When we're talking to somebody who's being nice, well, that's a way of saying thank you. Thank you. You've been very helpful. You've been very nice. You've been very friendly. All right, excellent job, Chris Valrol. Let's see, there's Born to Iron Man. He says we need to find accommodation near Alcantarilla. Sewer? Murcia. Alcantarilla. Isn't Alcantarilla sewer? We need to find accommodation near Alcantarilla, Murcia to visit our friends. Excellent. Accommodation or lodging. Otra vez, tienes dos formas de decirlo. Needless to say, toma, totally native. No hay que decirlo. Needless to say, we hope the hotel does not have a problem with bed bugs. Yeah, you don't want to wake up all itchy. And on the other hand, en cambio, toma. Born to Iron Man, estás usando muy bien tus linking words aquí. On the other hand, I expect the staff to be very kind and help us, sin ed, and help us with everything. Muy bien, kind, nice, helpful, friendly. Son todas formas de decir amable, ¿no? All right, excellent job, Chris. Born to Iron Man. Let's see, here's Elena rocking and rolling. Elena says, our accommodation this summer isn't set in stone yet. Toma, totally native. No está cerradísimo. We say set in stone, concretado, cerrado. Excellent. Wow, what did you guys have for breakfast today? Did you have an English breakfast? Because you sound great. I mean, you're wow. I'm impressed. I'm impressed every day, but I mean, wow. Great job. So our accommodation this summer isn't set in stone yet. Apparently, there's an infestation of bed bugs. Oh, man, as I said, any traveler's worst nightmare. Then she says, fortunately, the manager was kind enough, muy bien, kind, nice. He was kind enough to forewarn us, prevenir. Excellent. Wow. What can I say except keep it up, guys? What a wonderful job you did in our pop quiz and our Say What soundbite. But I'll tell you what, it's time for another challenge. It's Homophones on the Show with No Name.
Homophones on the show with no name. It's homophones time, cause homophones rhyme. They sound the same on the show with no name. The show with no name. Homophones on the show with no name. Cause homophones time, cause homophones rhyme. They sound the same on the show with no name. The show with no name. The show with no name. The show with no name.
That's right, amigos. It's Homophones only on the Show with No Name. And this, again, if you don't repeat anything in this show, at any point, make sure this is the section where you repeat the vocabulary aloud. Why? Because a lot of times the difference here is these details, right? The difference between stick and steak, or the difference between burn and barn, right? So it's really, really, really important that you vocalize during this part of the show, because these are those confusing words that I've chosen. Well, today they were chosen by lovely Laura, by the way. Laura, thank you so much for your contributions to the show. You really have sent us some wonderful double troubles, well, triple troubles as well. And also today's homophone comes from Laura. So even though she's not here with us live, she's here with us in spirit. She's leaving her mark, dejando su huella en el programa de hoy y el de ayer también. So first thing I want to know is what the words are. And then I want to know if the words sound exactly the same or not. All right, quite simple. ¿Qué son las palabras? ¿Y suenan igual o no? All right, here we go. The first word is frondoso. No es frondoso, frondoso. Frondoso, o sea, muy verde. Frondoso. También es borracho. Yeah. Podría ser un double trouble perfectamente. Okay, so frondoso, borracho. Okay, that is your first word. The second word also has two meanings. O sea que ambos podrían ser parte de nuestra sección double trouble. All right, the first one, the first meaning of the second word is látigo, okay, o latigazo, okay, que sería lo que das con el látigo. And the second one is pestaña. So both of them, again, have double meanings, which is great. Really, that means we're learning 4 words today, right? Only have to learn 2, but 4 different meanings. So the first one again, frondoso barra borracho. The second one is látigo barra latigazo y pestaña. Pestaña. All right, so those are your 2 homophone words in our homophones challenge today. Again, thank you very much to lovely Laura for sending us these words. Folks, we have got to go to a quick commercial break. I can't believe how fast time flies when you're having fun. So thank you to all of you who choose to have fun with us every day and learn English in an unconventional, quirky way. Yeah, no, this is not your everyday English class. If that's what you're looking for, you got plenty of those. No, this is a class for people who want to laugh and learn and be entertained. I know that's my philosophy. People say, Alberto, I have a lot of fun in your classes, even when I was working at companies. O sea, con gente muy seria, empresarios, que al final todos queremos reírnos. And they said, I always have fun in your class. What's your secret? You know what my secret is? I came to have fun too. O sea, yo vine a divertirme también. So let's have fun together. Folks, we'll be right back with the second half of today's show. So stick around. Yes. Welcome back, folks. Welcome back. This is the second half of today's show with no name. Don't forget, you've got tons of amazing programs here on Vaughn Radio, all for free. You've got the Pro Bow Show with Rob Grams. You've got No Excuses with Fitz. You've got Speaking with Confidence with Ale. Speak English with Ruby. Let's Get Random with Jules Linares. The Lunchtime Show with Rob and Andy. And BTW, by the way, Rob and Andy are hosting our upcoming trivia night. If you haven't marked your calendars yet, mark your calendars for May 5th. El 5 de mayo, May 5th. It's at 8 p.m. Get there a little bit earlier if you can. Get there as soon as you can. Mira, para usar la estructura de antes. And we're going to have a great time, as we always do, at our monthly Vaughn Radio Trivia Night. It's at a great location in the center of Madrid, Malasaña, at the Toast Tap Room. Again, it's May 5th, 2026 at 8 p.m. Join us. You've also got here on Vaughn Radio, you've got Dave Boys and the Salad. You've also got Jessica Fernandez and the Hour to Empower, where you'll work on so much more than just English. You'll work on bringing out the best version of yourself, not just as an English speaker, but as a person. I think we've got an amazing crew here on Vaughn Radio, and it's an honor to work among these awesome people. I'm proud to call them not co-workers. They're friends. Son amigos. And some of them, best friends. That's a gift. Vamos, un regalo, una bendición, a blessing, a gift. All right, well, folks, let's rock and roll now. We're going to give you the Say What soundbite now for the third time. Again, I know it's a little bit long and it's a little bit difficult, but do the best you can. Here it is, your Say What soundbite for the third time.
He starts by cutting off the pig's testicles, and he chops them up really finely, teeny tiny pieces. And then he takes those testicles and he pulverizes them and adds in a little arugula, some sage, feta cheese, and shoves the mixture back up the pig's, well, for lack of a better word, ass.
Me pregunta el del chiringuito si quiero hacer kitesurf o wakeboard, o si prefiero tomarme un bitter cass antes. Me acaba de decir 5 palabras en inglés. Kite, que significa cometa. Surf, que es obviamente hacer surf, pero también significa oleaje. Wake, que es estela, en este caso la estela del barco. Board es tabla y bitter es amargo. Y justo antes, cuando le pregunté si hablaba inglés, me dijo:
Pero patatero.
Sabemos mucho más inglés de lo que creemos. Solo nos falta asimilarlo y situarlo. Aprende a aprender inglés en cualquier lugar con This Book is the Milk y su secuela, This Book is the Milk 2. Te enseñaremos cómo enfocar el inglés, aprovechando todo el inglés que tenemos alrededor y de una manera divertida y adictiva. The Remilk ahora se llama This Book is the Milk 2 y viene con audio y nueva portada. Descúbrelos ya en vaughantienda.com. That's right. This book is the milk. This book is the milk too. And this book is the shit. All right, let's see what we've got over here. I've got a few students participating in our homophones challenge. The first person to take a stab at it is Elena, and she gives us the 2 words correctly. No surprise there, Elena. You are a rock star. And she says they aren't homophones. Okay, let's see. Born to Iron Man says they don't sound alike. And he says, thanks, Laura. Casi digo, every time I'm about to say Laura's name, I want to say Lara because Lara's my daughter. And well, sometimes, they're quite similar, those 2 names, right? So Born to Iron Man agrees with Elena. Chris Valrol also agrees, and she gives Laura a shout out as well. So right now I've got 3 superstars. 4. There's Vero. Hello, Vero. And Vero says they're not homophones to me. All right, so it's unanimous. Well, guess what? Don't ever second guess my students. They're not. Nope. Now, more importantly, let's say them. So lush, the first word is lush, right? The north of Spain is very lush compared to the south of Spain, right? It rains a lot. You get a lot of rainfall. I was in Vigo and it's lush, right? Lush. Lush rhymes with brush. Dilo conmigo, por favor, todos en voz alta. Lush rhymes with brush, no? Cepillo, brush o cepillar. Brush your teeth, you lush, borracho. So lush, okay? Also plush, que es peluche, right? She loves those plush animals. Ush, El sonido vocal is okay? If you can make that sound, you got it. Lush, lush. And the second word As we said, látigo, latigazo. También es, no cejas, se me olvida la palabra ahora. Pestaña, that's it. I always mix those up in Spanish. The second word is lash. So voy a decir las dos juntas. Lush, lash. A. Si quitamos todo lo demás, esos nos quedamos con el sonido vocal. Es a. Hazlo conmigo. A. Lush, lash. Lush, lash. Lash rhymes with cash. Cash, efectivo, right? Lash rhymes with bash. Fiestón. So excellent job. Wonderful job, Elena. Born to Iron Man, Chris Faldrol, and Vero. And thank you very much to lovely Laura for giving us those non-homophones. But folks, it's the moment you've all been waiting for. We're going to hear from your fellow students in Question of the Week.
Question of the Week.
That's right. Charge. It's Question of the Week. This week's question is, what is the wackiest wager you've ever made? That's right. La apuesta más loca que has hecho en tu vida. And first up, we're going to hear from a student who, I've got to say, I'm so proud of you. I'm sure you guys are proud of him as well, because, wow, he just started participating a few months ago, and we've already noticed his progress. So give it up for Alberto.
Hello.
Hi.
Again, showing no namers.
What's up, buddy?
This is Alberto speaking, and regarding the question of this week, I bet there will be excellent answers to this topic among all of us.
Absolutely.
I never liked betting in my life.
Me neither. I'm not a gambler. Right? A gambler es alguien que juega, jugador.
So when you are younger, I mean a teenager, you used to do things that now they are impossible to repeat them.
Mm-hmm.
At that age, the sky was the limit.
Yeah, and we had no inhibitions. It's like, oh, who cares? Whatever.
I remember once when I was in high school.
Qué bien lo has pronunciado, tío. No has dicho high school, has dicho high school. Me encanta.
One classmate bet a round of beers that we, me and my best friend at that time, wouldn't be able to write a comic about a love affair between the principal, an Spanish man, and one teacher.
Not an Spanish, a Spanish, no an, right? Porque no lleva e. Piensa que la S de Spanish se une con el a Spanish man.
An English woman.
Mm-hmm. Ooh,
obviously,
a love affair.
It happened and put it in the canteen to be seen by everyone.
Oh, God.
At the end of the day, we were called to the principal's room.
To the principal's office, la oficina del director. Of course. Well, if you're writing, love stories about the principal, I love it.
And we were suspended for 1 week.
Oh, man.
The hardest part was dealing the issue with our parents. And on the other hand, the positive was that we won the beers. I totally regret having done such a thing, although a bet when you are 16 is a bet. This is all for this week. Hope you have an amazing weekend. Bye.
Thank you. Thank you. You too. An excellent story, Alberto. It's great. I love it. All right, let's see who's up next. Of course, we've got a lot of people, which is wonderful. A lot of people who have participated this week, and I think it's great that so many people are working on their English, their spoken English here on the show with no name. All right, up next, we've got Alfonso.
Hi, Alberto.
Hey.
Alfonso here from Ruby speaking again. The truth is, I'm not really
The truth, right? The truth is
into gambling at all. I really enjoy cruises. I've been on many, and I only walk through the casino to get to the restaurant or to film it for my YouTube channel.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Isn't that crazy? When you're on a cruise, they make you go through the casino to go to the dining room.
But the year I went to Las Vegas, my wife said, come on, since we're here, at least place a bet.
Muy buen vocabulario. Make a bet or place a bet. Ahí te he visto.
So after a few days of looking at the slot machines, I finally put in $5.
Slot machines. You call it swallow bitches? Tragaperras? Bueno, perra, a female dog is a bitch. And okay, I know. Estáis hablando de perras como dinero. But we call it a slot machine. Literalmente, máquina de ranura.
And the machine gave me $200.
Wow.
I took the money and have never gambled again. Goodbye.
Como decimos, I took the money and ran. O sea, coge el dinero y huye. Wow, talk about beginner's luck there. Suerte del principiante. Oh, man, it reminds me of a time. The same thing happened to me. I was in Atlantic City. It's the East Coast's version of Las Vegas. It's in New Jersey. In fact, if you've seen the series Boardwalk Empire, it takes place in Atlantic City. And I remember we were on our way to dinner, yendo a cenar. And of course, as I said, it's set up, the layout, ¿no? Como lo dejan todo. You have to go through the casino. So I said, okay, well, listen, I've got $1 here. I don't remember if it was 50 cents or $1 or whatever. I said, you know what? And that's what they want. That's what they're hoping for, that you'll say, okay, a quick slot machine before dinner. And so, I put in, I don't remember if it was 50 cents or $1. It wasn't over $1, okay? And all of a sudden, jackpot is, me tocó el premio, jackpot. And I got $350. $350, to give you an idea, back then, paid for the hotel room and the dinner that night. And like our friend Alfonso, I took the money and ran. I was like, okay, we're good. We're good here. The problem is when you keep going. That's when you get in trouble. I see we don't have too many gamblers here with us. All right. Well, excellent job, Alfonso and Alberto. Up next, we've got another A in our A club. We've got Alberto, we've got Alfonso, and we've got the lovely Anix.
Hey there, this is Annie.
Hi.
The craziest bet I ever made was a food one. I said I could conquer a mountain of Colombian goodness, a plate loaded with beans, white rice, and 3 different kinds of meat.
Ooh, sounds delicious. My mouth is watering.
Add also a fried slice of green plantain.
Oh, I love plantains. Yeah, remember, we say bananas, pero si hablamos de los los fritos estos, we call them plantains.
And a creamy slice of avocado to the mix.
Oh, sounds great.
A real feast, by the way. The challenge.
A feast, un festín.
To finish it all in one go. Spoiler alert, I did it. But let's just say my appetite and I aren't on speaking terms with that plate anymore. Okay, guys, bye-bye.
Le cogiste asco. You don't eat that anymore after that. Anix, so you were doing food challenges before they were popular, because now it's very popular. If you can eat this, it's on the house. Invitado, no? And Anix, so you know the show, the famous show, you call it Crónicas Carnívoras in Spanish. We call it Man versus Food. Well, in Anix's case, it was woman versus food. Hey, Anix, I had a similar experience. It wasn't a bet. I was just with a bunch of young people, some of my younger friends, and I thought I could go head to head with them with tequila shots. I was wrong, and as Anix said, tequila and I are not on speaking terms. Ya no nos hablamos. Excellent. Wow, guys, really, I'm really impressed with not just your stories, but how confident you are speaking English. And as I always say, you might make one more mistake than last week, one less mistake than the week before, but your confidence, nobody on earth can take that from you. So that's the main idea here, to get your point across. Ahí tienes el phrasal verb clave. Comunicar claramente lo que vienes a decir. To get your point across. All right. Excellent job. to our A's. Yeah, we said Alberto, Alfonso, Anix. Next, we're going with our B, our only B. You know him, you love him, born to Iron Man.
What's up, Nate?
What's up?
This is BTI. The Christmas bet I've ever made, definitely the wackiest wager of my life.
The wackiest wager, hay que darle ese no wager, right? Wager.
Happened in Paris many years ago when I was with my girlfriend, who is now my wife.
Oh.
We were standing right in front of the Eiffel Tower, lining up at the ticket booth.
Mm-hmm.
The attendant asked us, "Bonjour, which floor would you like?" And without thinking, trying to sound cool, I said, "To the top, of course." Showing off a little.
Presumiendo un poco, fardeando, showing off.
Confidently saying, I could make it all the way to the highest public point. Well, it didn't hit me until we went out the first lift.
It didn't hit me. Qué nativo, eh? No me lo percaté. It didn't hit me. Wow, Born to Iron Man. Estás mejorando muchísimo, tío.
The funny part, that's the exact moment I discovered something new about myself. I suffer from vertigo.
Oh no, vertigo, fear of heights. Oh boy.
And people with tickets to the top were heading to the second lift. And not just any lift, a crystal clear one.
Oh yeah, I've been to the Eiffel Tower, and that thing sways at the top. Sway, mecerse, moverse de un lado para otro. Yeah, oh boy.
As it started going up, I could see everything. The ground shrinking, the city stretching out.
Don't look down, como se dice.
And suddenly, that confident guy at the ticket booth, completely gone and no way back. So every part of me was thinking, this was a terrible idea. My legs were shaking, my heart was racing. At the top, with Paris spread out below us, I realized something. It was unforgettable. It's still one of my favorite stories. Ciao.
It was worth it then, in the end. Yeah, well, I've got to tell you something, man. I'm not afraid of heights in general. I'm not afraid of heights. I've skydived, hecho paracaidismo. I've bungee jumped, hecho puenting. But there's something about that Eiffel Tower being at the top and, you know, that wind and it starts swaying and you're like, what an amazing view. But you're tense. It is, you know, estás tenso porque esto se mueve o estoy yo loco. And in the end, you want it to move, right? You don't want it to be rigid because if it moves, it means that it can take the wind, no? Está compensando por el viento. But I agree. That is one of the most amazing views ever. I mean, it is just a beautiful view. Paris is a beautiful city, but from the top of the Eiffel Tower, wow. So you did it, man. You conquered your fear that day. But the funniest part about that story is he had no idea that he was afraid of heights until he started going up to the top. All right, excellent job. We're going to hear from some more students in the fourth part of the show, but I figured right now, before our commercial break, I'll leave you with another challenge. It's time for today's Double Trouble.
Double trouble, baby. Yeah, you know what time it is. Give it up. Double trouble. I said double trouble. Double trouble. I said double trouble.
That's right, folks. It is our Double Trouble here on the show with No Name. And guess what? guess who's back? Well, this is the good thing, folks. Laura is proving to me that even though she can't listen to the show live, she is still hard at work at acquiring English vocabulary, and she's playing with words like I tell you to do all the time. So this one is, again, sponsored by Laura. In the end, Laura, I'm going to have to give you half of my paycheck this week. Te voy a tener que dar la mitad de mi nómina. Ok, te doy 50 euros al final. All right, excellent. No, but seriously, if you guys have any ideas for homophones, for double troubles, or news stories, or anything that you think would be interesting for the show, remember, this is an open forum here. You can send me an email at aalonso@grupovon.com. And my email is open to all of you. So even if you want to tell me I'm ugly, I don't care. I've got thick skin. ¿Cómo decís eso? I've got thick skin. No me afectan cosas. Tengo la piel gruesa, decimos. I've got thick skin. So feel free. Feel free. All right, here's Laura's double trouble for today. Intenta caminar a mi lado y manténme informado sobre todas las cosas. Again, the idea behind this section is using the same word twice. All right, so intenta caminar a mi lado y manténme informado sobre todas las cosas. All right. Again, we're using the same word twice. And I think this is a tough one, to be honest. This is reserved for English superstars. I said, I don't know if this one's going to be too hard. Well, is it too hard? We shall see. Veremos. We shall see by A, how quick it takes you to answer, and how many people answer. I know a lot of people say, okay, well, I'll let somebody else answer. I get it. That's the easy way. But why not? Take a stab at it. Have a go. Son dos formas de decir inténtalo. So there it is. Intenta caminar a mi lado y manténme informado sobre todas las cosas. That's your double trouble. Thanks, lovely Laura. When we come back, we've got a lot of stuff to do in the fourth and final part of today's show. We're going to kick things off with our Say What soundbite, the fourth listen. And in fact, I think Elena took a stab at it over here. Did I see it, Elena? Did you take a stab at it, or am I losing my mind here? I thought I saw it. Okay, well, I'll check now in the comments. Plus, we'll take a look at the answer to today's double trouble. We've got movies, we've got music, and so much more up ahead. We're going to laugh, we're going to play, and we might even learn a little English to boot. To boot significa además, también. So, if I were you guys, I wouldn't even think of going anywhere. Say it with me in 3, 2, 1. Stick around. Welcome back, folks. Welcome back. This is the fourth and final part of today's show. Thank you so much for joining us here on the show. Don't forget to stay tuned. You've got amazing programs all afternoon long and all evening long. here on Vaughn Radio. Oh, yeah. And welcome to all our new listeners at our new time slot. Hey, hemos visto la palabra slot. Tragaperras, right? A slot machine. Well, a time slot too is hueco, no franja horaria. Is that how you say it? Un hueco. Do you have a time slot next week? No hay que decir time en contexto, se sabe. So a shout out to all our listeners who tune in the morning and in the evening. We're on from 6:30 a.m. to 8:30. 6:30 to 8:30 a.m. and then 6 to 8 p.m. But again, you can listen to the show whenever you want if you download the podcasts, and you can find our podcasts on all your favorite podcast platforms: Spotify, iVox, and my personal favorite, well, just because I'm an Apple user, Apple Podcasts. I'm not proud of that, but I am. They got me. I'm in their ecosystem, and I've been using Apple as far back as I can remember. No, desde que me acuerdo, I've been using Apple. That doesn't mean I like it. It means es lo que hay. All right, folks. We're going to kick things off by listening to our pretty tough Say What soundbite. Is everybody ready? Here it is for the fourth and final time.
He starts by cutting off the pig's testicles, and he chops them up really finely, teeny tiny pieces. And then he takes those testicles and he pulverizes them and adds in a little arugula, some sage, feta cheese, and shoves the mixture back up the pig's, well, for lack of a better word, ass.
¿Te gustaría abrir puertas a nuevas oportunidades y estar listo para cualquier desafío? Con el máster de inglés del Grupo Vaughan podrás transformar tu futuro. Este programa intensivo te ayudará a dominar el inglés profesional, perfeccionar tu comunicación y ganar la confianza que necesitas para conseguir tus objetivos. Nuestros profesores Vaughan especializados te prepararán para afrontar en inglés todas las situaciones de comunicación en un entorno profesional. No dejes que el inglés sea una barrera. Invierte en tu futuro con el máster de inglés profesional del Grupo Vaughan. Llámanos al 91-133-5833 o entra en grupovaughan.com.
That's right, folks. It is grupovaughn.com. That's our website. If you want to find out about our courses, remember this: if you're looking for summer camps for the kids, they are filling up fast. And I'm not just saying that. They fill up fast every year. I get it. You want to, you got to have the kids for 14, 15 hours a day because they don't have school. So you want to make sure they're having fun and doing something productive. Enter our Vaughn summer camps. You've got day camps. You've also got camps where they go away. So whatever your needs may be, you can find out more at grupovaughn.com. Also, you can follow us on social media. We're on Instagram, Facebook, X, LinkedIn, YouTube, and all the rest. And we've got offices in Madrid, Barcelona, Bilbao, Vigo, Valladolid, Valencia, and Santander. All right, let's see what we've got here. Now, I've got a lot of people taking a stab at today's Double Trouble, which comes from Laura. All right, Born to Iron Man says, try to keep up with me and keep me up on everything. Okay. The second part is incorrect. Okay, so to keep me up to date on everything, you could say, and try to keep up with me. Yeah, eso es otra forma de decir caminar a mi lado, no, mantener el ritmo. All right, excellent effort. Let's see if anybody else got the one that Laura suggested. All right, Chris Valrol says, try to keep up with me and keep me informed about everything. All right, I'm going to give that one to you because it's correct. to keep me up to date, to keep me informed. Daniela, try to keep up with me and keep me in the loop about everything. Wow, Daniela. And she says, hello, lovely people. Hello, great job. What an entrance. Vaya entrada ahí. So yes, those two are correct. Chris, try to keep up with me and keep me informed or up to date about everything, or try to keep up with me and keep me in the loop about everything. But the one Laura gave us is try to walk abreast of me. Una palabra, abreast of me. Se escribe abreast. Try to walk abreast of me and keep me abreast of everything. So that's the one Laura gave us. But I've got to say, Chris, Daniela, and Born to Iron Man, we just got to make a little adjustment. Great. We'll take it. Wonderful job. All right, though, we're going to hear from some more students now. And speaking of Chris Valrol, who I just mentioned, here she is.
Hi there, Showito Namers.
Hello.
It's Chris Valrol. I think I can call it a gamble. A few years ago, a guy hit my car, which was parked on the street.
Oh, boy.
As he was leaving a construction site.
Construction, right? No construction, sino construction.
In his company car. The guy was in a hurry, and he didn't want to bother with filling a report. So he gave me his boss's phone number and said he would pay for the repairs. And he beat it.
He beat it, se piró. Esto se llama hit and run. Si tú chocas con alguien, a la fuga, ¿no? It means you hit and run. Bastante lógico en inglés.
Called me crazy, but I decided to trust him.
Uh-huh.
And I called his boss, and sure enough, he paid for the dent in my car.
Oh, wow.
Thank you.
Dent,
Bye-bye.
abolladura. All right. Wow, you took a risk there. Imagine, Chris, you call the number. And it's like, hello, Domino's Pizza. How can I help you? All right. Well, that's a different kind of bet, but you bet on humanity there. Apostaste por la humanidad. And luckily, you won. All right. Up next, we've got a student who always participates. It's Nuria.
Morning, Alberto and
Hello.
Namers. This is Nuria here. Regarding this week's question, I have to tell you that I've never made a bet. In a sense, I don't like to take unnecessary risks.
Risks. Sé que es difícil esa palabra. Risks.
Because it can lead to detrimental consequences.
Yes.
As the saying goes, the best throw with the dice is to throw them away.
Oh, I didn't know that one. The best throw of the dice is to throw them away. Los dados.
However, it occurs to me that I could tell you a story about two of my aunts who were twins.
Mm-hmm.
They were like two peas in a pod.
Like two peas in a pod, como dos guisantes en una vaina, lo que vienen a ser dos gotas de agua.
With the same physical appearance and behavior.
Like the Simpsons, like Marge's sisters.
And they decided to make a crazy bet.
Okay.
To swap boyfriends.
To swap boyfriends. Oh my, cambiar de novios. Oh, Jesus.
And you know what? They didn't even realize until they mentioned it themselves.
They mentioned it, right? La D hay que oírla. Mentioned it. Oh my God, I'm in shock.
Needless to say,
no hay que decirlo.
It only lasted a few hours and they had a lot of fun. That's all for now. Take care, amigos.
Oh my God. You can do a lot of damage with twins, ¿no? Hacer mucho daño con gemelos o gemelas. Oh my God, what a crazy story, Nuria. All right, up next, we've got Elena. And by the way, Elena, I'm going to give you a nice round of applause. She's trying to write the Say What soundbite, but YouTube won't let her. Censored. You're not allowed to participate in your English class. YouTube knows what's best for you. Vaya faena. All right. Well, don't worry, Elena. I know that if you didn't get it, you definitely came close. But either way, we'll take a look at what's being said in our Say What soundbite in just a little bit. Right now, we're going to hear from Elena.
Hello, this is Elena.
Hello.
When I was much younger, I did an internship in Rio. I had a crush on a lifeguard at a hotel pool, silly flirting, making eyes, nothing serious at all. And as it turned out, I made a bet with a workmate of mine. Then I don't remember what she bet, but my wager, I'll never forget that one because I lost the bet. It was, thank goodness, on the last day of my stay. I went up to this heartthrob.
I went up to this heartthrob. A heartthrob is buenorro, buenorra.
And quickly, without saying a word, gave him a peck on his lips.
A peck on his lips. En los labios. Ooh, hoo, hoo.
Needless to say that I ran off straight after that at breakneck speed because I was so embarrassed. It was a good thing I haven't seen him ever again. All right. Thank you. Take care.
At breakneck speed, a velocidad de Usain Bolt. Wow. Well, I guess he didn't have a problem with it, right? Because, you never got a call later like, oh, well, I was uncomfortable with that. Also, these are things you only do when you're younger, right? When you're older, you're like, I would never go up to somebody and give him a peck on the lips. As Alberto said, cosas de la juventud. These are things we do, in our youth. All right. These are wonderful stories. And again, thank you so much to all of you for sharing and practicing with us. And we've got one more student, and this is his first time participating. And you guys know Cristina Chicago? Well, this is Juan Lu Chicago. And yes, there might be a relation between those two.
Hey, Alberto and
Hello.
classmates. This is Juan Lu from Chicago. The question of the week is the craziest bet I've ever made. I think it was maybe 25 years ago when I neither got married with Chris nor have had any children yet.
Married to Chris, right? En español, decir casados con, we say married to Chris. So he says he's a disclaimer, descarga de responsabilidad aquí, o carga de responsabilidad. Ya lo hemos visto varias veces, un término legal. A disclaimer, I didn't have any kids and I was not married to Cristina Chicago yet. All right, you're safe, buddy. Don't worry.
And I bet with my best friend at the INEP University in Madrid, who can have the most extremely six-pack definition you can imagine.
Six-pack. Esto es una tabla de chocolate. What do you call it? Tabla de lavar. Six-pack, ¿no? Es cuando tienes abdominales, vamos, que flipas.
In 3 months. It took us like 3 months. And the loser would pay a free buffet dinner at the Casino of Madrid to get stuffed. So, of course, I won. And I always brag about that when we gather all together.
To brag is to show off.
With my friends. And that's all, Alberto. Thank you very much. And have a nice week, a nice weekend. And thank you, Show with No Namers.
All right. What can I say except wonderful job? Alberto, Alfonso, Anix, Born to Iron Man, Chris Van Rol, Nuria, Elena, and Juan Lu Chicago. All right, folks, you know where we're going now? The movies. Name that movie. Yes, that's right, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Name That Movie, where we learn some English from movies. Let's get right into it. Here we go. Journalist Michael Blomkvist is aided in his search for a woman who has been missing for 40 years by hacker Lisbeth Salander. Okay, son nombres ahí. So journalist, no journalist, journalist, hay que machacar esa J en inglés. Jealous, journalist, jelly, right? Journalist Michael Blomkvist is aided. It's another way of saying helped, ayudado. Is aided in his search, su búsqueda, for a woman who has been missing for 40 years by hacker, ¿sabéis la palabra hacker? Lo usáis en español. Lisbeth Salander. All right, I haven't seen this movie, but it's definitely a movie that I've heard of. It's also a book, if I'm not mistaken, as well. All right, let's take a look at the scene from this movie. Harold says, I'm not a recluse. Now, a recluse is somebody who doesn't mix with people. A loner, solitario, ermitaño, right? Recluse. I'm not a recluse. I don't close my door to anyone, right? No cierro la puerta a nadie. They just don't visit. Pero es que no me visitan. And then Michael says, well, perhaps if you redecorated. Basically, the apartment is in shambles. No, el apartamento está hecho un asco. Perhaps if you redecorated. And then Harold says, hide the past like they do? Esconder mi pasado como ellos hacen? Under a thin, shiny veneer? Me encanta esta palabra, veneer. Veneer es, ¿cómo es en el sentido? Figurado, barniz, fachada, right? Apariencia, right? Let me give it to you in context. Larry's veneer of charm often fooled people, right? Que no era realmente como es. So a veneer, barniz, que es algo que parece así, pero no es así. Veneer, ¿ok? También son las carillas estéticas, ¿no? Los dientes, veneers, piensa, son una capa que esconde tu diente de verdad, veneers. So it's a great word to know. So, under a thin, shiny veneer, like an IKEA table, como una mesa de IKEA, right? In the end, it looks nice, but is it good quality? I don't know. I'm not a judge. I don't know much about furniture. He goes, I am the most honest, no honest, honest. Esa O no es una O. I'm the most honest of all of them. And Michael says, the family? And he says, Sweden. O sea, IKEA. ¿Y tu familia? Sweden. So there's a little wink to IKEA. All right. Let's see. Chris Valrol says it's the men who didn't love women or the girl with the dragon tattoo. I love the two versions of this movie. Great job, Chris. It's the girl with the dragon tattoo. Tattoo tiene dos T's y dos O's. ¿Ok? Y cuidado, yo sé que en español decís tattoo, ¿no? En inglés es tattoo. Y se puede decir tats también. Do you have any tats? All right. Wonderful job, Chris Valrol. And right now, we've got a birthday celebration to get to on Famous Birthday Trivia.
Famous birthdays for you. Famous birthdays, birthdays for me. Famous birthdays, birthdays for everyone on the show with no name. Famous birthdays for him. Famous birthdays for her. Famous birthdays for everyone on the show with no name.
All right, let's do this. Let's see who's celebrating a birthday today. Our first actress is an American actress from 1985. That's right. She was born in 1985. She's been nominated for 2 Academy Awards, 2 Golden Globes, and many others as well. And she comes from a family of actors as well. She was in the movie The Social Network. That's where she first rose to fame. She was also Lisbeth Salander in David Fincher's The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo. You mean the movie we just looked at? Yes. And this earned her a nomination for the Academy Award for Best Actress. She's also been in Nightmare Alley, El Callejón de las Pesadillas. Bueno, vete a saber cómo lo traducen en español. Women Talking, and many other. Number 2, this guy, this American singer-songwriter, was born today in 1964. He's in the group, or I should say is the lead singer of the group Tool. Also a perfect circle. Y ojo con la palabra tool. Tool, herramienta. Tool, gilipollas. This guy's a tool. Tool, lo que tengo entre las piernas. Yeah. The male organ. Yes. O sea, eso podría ser un triple trouble ahí que flipas. All right, so the lead singer of the group Tool and A Perfect Circle. And last but not least, this American actress has garnered many awards as well. And the word garner, ¿qué es garner? Well, garner is conseguir, obtener. And it's also her last name. ¿Viste lo que he hecho ahí? So her work has garnered a lot of good reviews. She got her start in theater, but she was also in Pearl Harbor, Catch Me If You Can, Alias, the show Alias. She was also on Juno, in the movie Juno, Valentine's Day, Dallas Buyers Club. I mean, she's been in so many movies, and she is definitely a huge talent. Ladies and gentlemen, speaking of huge talents, she nailed it. Chris Valrol. Number 1, Rooney Mara. Number 2, Maynard James Keenan. And number 3, Jennifer Garner, que ya sabemos ahora que garner es conseguir, obtener, right? She has garnered a lot of praise, muchos elogios for her work. And that's going to bring us right to our Say What soundbite, which, as you guys are telling me, you've been censored, but don't worry, I trust you. This is a scene with Jennifer Garner, and it's called Valentine's Day, the movie. And basically, she catches her boyfriend being unfaithful. So she poses as the waitress at the restaurant when they're on a date. And then the woman says, what are the specials today? And once she's got the guy's attention, she's kind of saying to him, tú eres el cerdo que le van a cortar los huevos, basically. Okay, so she's pretending, fingiendo que es la camarera. And he says, let me tell you about our lying, stinking pig. Okay, nuestro cochinillo cerdo, lying, stinking pig. And he goes, and the woman says, how does the chef prepare that? Well, he starts by cutting off the pig's testicles. He chops them up very finely, muy finamente, ¿no? In teeny tiny pieces. And then he takes those testicles and he pulverizes them. And then adds in a little arugula, you say? Arugula, some sage, savia, yeah, and feta cheese, el queso feta. And then shoves the mixture, to shove is meter, he shoves the mixture back up the pig's, well, for lack of a better word, ass. Y luego se lo mete en el culo del cerdo. Here she is, Jennifer Garner.
He starts by cutting off the pig's testicles, and he chops them up really finely, teeny tiny pieces. And then he takes those testicles and he pulverizes them and adds in a little arugula, some sage, feta cheese, and shoves the mixture back up the pig's, well, for lack of a better word, ass.
All right, folks, that's for you. Thank you for all your effort. Don't forget to stay tuned, because up next you can continue to learn English with all my amigos. And we're going to say goodbye with a Tool song. I love this group, Tool, and the song is Stink Fist. Again, folks, it's been an absolute pleasure, and I thank you so much for joining us here on the show. Have an awesome weekend. Ciao for now.